Boy, I'm looking rough. I'm really coming right here with faith and hope in God, and that's honestly, not preparing is usually when God speaks through me the best. I've found of all the times I've done speeches and spoken to groups, the times I don't prepare is whenever they get the message and they're like, oh my gosh, that really spoke to me today because I literally just let God do his thing. So that's what I'm doing right now. Because I was listening to Coach Josh again and I feel like I just needed to move. I feel like God was calling me to do something because I felt so stagnant for so long now, like the past few months. I felt like I haven't really moved and that I haven't really been listening to God's voice or hearing his voice or doing anything. Like, look at the last time I even made one of these videos. It's been a hot second. And so that's why I came here. Whatever I'm wearing, I mean, I got my I Love Jesus shirt on. Shout out grandma. Looking busted, edges all out. Like, I don't even care. It's a few things I want to speak about. First of all, Coach Josh reminded me of, he's on this tour, or he was, and it was called the Purpose of Singleness Tour. There is a purpose to your singleness. To those that are single, it's not to be wasted. God is using that time to grow you in him so that you can rely fully on him so that he can be your best friend, so that you will know that y'all two are together, and that if no man ever comes along, if no woman comes along, that you're content in him. And I've found that until you get to that point where you're truly content with God and that you're not worried about necessarily seeking a husband or seeking a wife, but just seeking God and allowing him to bring that person to you, that's whenever he moves. Once you get comfortable with God and you're content with God and you get to the point where you're like, God, you know what? I am content if you call me to a life of singleness. I found that is when he will bring you someone. That's all I'm going to say about that one. Another part, I just finished reading The Weight by Megan Good and Devon Franklin, or Devon Franklin, I think it's Devon. I don't know. And it was amazing. So I've been celibate, 5 years now? Yeah, 4 or 5, something like that. But I chose that celibacy, and for 4 of those 5 years, or whatever, 75% of that time, I was single during that time being celibate. And it's a lot easier to be celibate when you're single, to be honest. That book really helped me to see more reasons why to be celibate. Not that God saying, oh, sex before marriage is not, or like sexual sin. Not that that's not a good enough reason, because it is. That was my sole reason for 4 years until I read this book. But the way that they describe how when they waited, they got to grow to know each other. They weren't like lusting after each other, but not necessarily acting upon that lust. They were communicating. They were talking more. In times that they could have been doing this, instead they were talking and communicating. It taught them a lot of patience. It taught them to be patient with each other, to be patient. So whenever you're waiting for something, that whatever you get at the end of that wait is far more valuable than if you were to have got it initially, because then you appreciate it more, because you waited and you put in the time and you put in the work to wait and to be patient for it. And so the way that they described their whole journey and all that celibacy has really inspired me, and I'll continue to be celibate, wear my purity ring, and just praying for strength and praying that God does keep us centered on him, keep us focused on him and knowing why we are celibate and why that is so important, and not to give in to temptation whenever it may seem difficult. Whenever you feel like God is gone, because I felt like that for a little, that I didn't really feel him. But I mean, the teacher is always the most quiet during a test, so maybe he was testing me and testing to see if I really was truly about him, and that he truly was still my number one, regardless of all the stuff I had going on. Work, because I'm not in school no more, so all it is work and man, and friends, work and relationships and friends. But God is just trying to see if I'm still focused on him and still focused on getting that God-given dream. Like, he put a dream on my heart and he gave me these gifts, and I felt like I hadn't been using them. Y'all pray for me on that I use the gifts, because this truly is my mission. It truly is. To glorify God using the gifts he's given me, and to spread Christ's love and plant seeds that change the world. I want to plant seeds that change the world. I'm not necessarily going to be the one to change the world, but I know God can use my gifts and that he can use me to inspire. And that's why I felt that this was so necessary to make right now, this video. Because, I don't know who watches these, but I do know that God will use these eventually, and I feel him just moving and working when I follow him. So when you follow him and you read your word and you trust him, then he'll guide you. On another note, I'm still vegan. I'm barely in First Samuel. That's why I really feel like I haven't been moving. I feel like God is really trying to test me throughout this time of me being vegan until I finish reading my Bible from beginning to end. And so since I'm barely on First Samuel, like I feel like he's really just waiting for me to. I lost my train of thought. He's waiting on me to truly work and truly read it the way he wants me to, and truly study it, rather than just reading just so I don't have to not eat like this anymore. This last part I want to talk about is just being persecuted for being a Christian. I broke down like twice in the past 5 months just because I've heard people say things about me, about where they say I'm either like stuck up, or I think I'm better than everyone else, or like I'm no fun, and stuff where that people don't even know about me. People don't know the struggles that I go through. People don't know what I deal with on a daily basis. People don't know my heart. All they see is the surface. So for people to say stuff like that and think I'm truly stuck up when I truly genuinely love and care about everybody really hurts my feelings, and it really made me sad. I started to cry yesterday because I truly do love everyone. So for people to do that and then look me in the face and smile and act like they don't say stuff like that really hurts my feelings. It feels like they're challenging my faith. They're like disrespecting me and my walk with God. Like what I'm doing is none of people's business, to be honest. I share my love and share that so that I can try to help grow people. So if people don't want to listen or like be helped, then don't worry about me. Like you should be spending so much time in your own dream and in your own thoughts that you don't even have time to worry about someone else's thoughts and worry about them unless it's going to benefit you. So if the speak that's coming out of your mouth does not benefit anyone, then there's no point in saying that. But I did feel God kind of speak to me yesterday. I was reading my Bible and he put me on like 5 different verses that were basically talking about you're going to be persecuted for following me. You're going to be looked down upon because you follow me. They're not going to understand it. They're not going to understand it. The first one I flipped to was Proverbs 25, which is crazy because 25 is my number.
It's probably been a minute since you had yourself a girl, or you probably never had one because you was giving hoes your world. Women been on